Do you ever go into conversations and you feel like it's awkward whenever you're speaking to people? Well, in this video, I'm going to show you how to conquer your awkwardness and how to come out confident when you're speaking to people. Like this. See that? See that? That's the look of being awkward. You got a little bit of sweat and your face is kind of like, but then you want to come out feeling confident. You're showing nothing but them pearly whites and just feeling good. Let's go. Let's talk about the root of awkwardness. Awkwardness usually comes from a few different things. Your confidence, or should I say the lack of confidence. Sometimes when you don't have confidence in what you're talking about or even approaching people to speak to them, this could make you come off as awkward because of your tone of voice, your body language. Confidence is everything in communication. I don't know if you've seen a lot of my videos, but I talk about confidence a lot because it is the root to great communication. Another thing with the root of awkwardness is not knowing what to say. Now, not knowing what to say could be a few different things or reasons. Sometimes our emotions get involved. And when our emotions get involved, we lose track of what we really want to talk about. Now, I know mostly guys, when it comes to approaching a female and we really want to talk to her because we get these emotions going on all in the gut and all in our brain saying we want that. We get close to her and all of a sudden our brain was like, okay, well, at least we got the courage up to at least go talk to her. And now our brain is like, I don't know what to say to her. So knowing what to say can be a great way to build some confidence as well as get rid of that awkwardness. We're going to get into that a little deeper though in just a moment. But just so you know, awkwardness is normal. It is normal to feel a little awkward or feel like things is going a little awkward. Only because, especially if you're approaching someone new and you're speaking to someone new, you don't know how they react to things. So when you are just getting to learn people and their body language and the way they speak, their mannerisms, things can feel awkward, but just remember, it's normal. But I'm going to show you some ways of how to actually make those feelings go away so you can feel more confident about the interaction itself. Let's talk about some preparation tips. Oh yeah, you want to prepare for some conversations. Now I know sometimes when you're out in the wild and you see something that you like, I'm going to say something, and you see someone you like and you want to approach them, preparation is kind of like, I can't prepare for that. But yes, you can. I'll tell you how. Now, here's one way you can prepare to be prepared to speak to anyone. One, just practice small talk. Practice with people at, say, the grocery store. They are notorious for trying to start up small talk. Practice right there. Don't worry about the people behind you in line. They'll get through it. You ain't going to be having a long conversation. It's just basically the part of speaking where it's the introduction part. They could be like, bloop, bloop, hi, sir. Did you find everything you like? Well, I think I did. I was looking for something specific, but I don't think I found it because I don't have it in my cart. Oh, did you want us to help you find something? Nah, I was just kidding. I was just trying to start up a little small talk. How are you doing today? Boop, boop. I'm doing fine, sir. Thank you for asking. Boop. That's awesome. I'm glad to hear you're having a great day. Because sometimes when you're at work, it's hard to have a great day, huh? Boop, boop. I can't talk about that right now, sir. I'm kidding. They don't usually go that far. Just depends on that type of person, honestly. But that's just a little small talk right there. Something to get them to speak back to you. Practicing small talk, you can do that at a coffee shop. You can do that anywhere where somebody has to ask you a question to get a response from you. And then you ask an open-ended question. That's another practical tip there. Ask open-ended questions. What's an open-ended question? An open-ended question is a question that makes somebody have to give a response that is not a yes or no answer. For example, if you were to watch the Super Bowl, who would you want to win? Oh, I'm going to watch the Super Bowl. I want the Chiefs to win because I used to live in Kansas City. You used to live in Kansas City? Oh, yeah. Many years ago, I used to live in Kansas City, and I actually enjoyed living in that city. You enjoyed living in that city? Oh, yeah. It was so much fun. That place has a lot of hills. Man, it's a great city. It's a lot of activities, things to do out there. It's a really nice place. Now, I just added in another tip. What I did was, if you were paying attention, I was doing a tip called parroting. Parroting is when somebody gives you an answer, you take the last little bit of their sentence, you repeat it, but you repeat it with the inflection of a question. When you do that, it makes them expand more on what they were talking about. Parroting is a great way to keep the person who's speaking. Because honestly, when it comes to getting rid of awkwardness in conversations, for you, it's not about you being the main one to speak. Here's a pro tip. If you want to be the most interesting person to someone, make them talk about themselves. We're going to get into that a little later, though. I'm not going to give you all the juice right now. I'm going to save some of that for later. That's going to be in the next part. Oh, my goodness. I need to get some new markers, man, because these markers don't erase well. But let's move on to the next part. Remember, parroting is really great. If you don't want to be the main one talking, you want to keep them talking, parroting. What did you just say? Now I'm going to show you some tips on how to master small talk. Now, here's one little formula you could think of that will help you with good topics to talk about with anyone. And it's a simple one. It's an acronym. Not my favorite car company, but it's Ford. The F stands for family. The O stands for occupation or business, if they're the business type. The R stands for rec. Man, you see that? I don't know what I was trying to do with two E's, but that is not supposed to look like that. Recreation. And D stands for dreams. These are always great subjects to talk about with someone, to get them talking and just to have great conversations with. The things you want to stay away from, politics and religion. These are great argument starters, so stay away from them. Unless, of course, these are common grounds for you. But even then, it could still put you in a rocky situation that could end up making the conversation not go good. But family, usually a good one, unless you have one of those families like I got. Now, I love talking about my family, my wife's side, because they're a funny bunch. But I love them. They're great to talk about. My occupation. So I like talking about my occupation and my new business. I actually just wrote a book. I will have a link in the description. You can check that out. And my recreation. So my recreation used to be a lot more different back in the day. I used to play a lot more table tennis because table tennis it was my life for a while. Like I was at a club at least 2 times a week playing table tennis. I've slowed down quite a bit. I haven't played in months, but I will get back on my game. It's like riding a bike. Once you get on it, you don't forget. You just got to get used to that ball flying at you at pretty fast speed. And then my dreams. My dream is just to teach people on the internet, teach people in real life, teach people from a stage, things that I've learned about communication. Because from my stuttering to my success with speaking now, it's been a ride. And I'd love to show other people who have a speech impediment that you can overcome it and you can do magnificent things. Every one of us has a story, but not all of us are willing to tell it. Are you willing to tell yours? I'm going to help you by showing you how to get better at communication. Let's go. Active listening is what's going to set you apart from everyone else. For one, when you are active listening, you are the most important person to the person you're speaking to. Because for one, they're opening up to you. So when you're doing your active listening, you want to show nonverbal cues that you're listening. It's like nodding and subtle body shifts, like leaning in. These are just a few ways to indicate to the person who's speaking that you're actually listening. You can actually give them some verbal cues too, like going, Whoa, what was I about to spell? I don't know what I was going to use an M for, but like, yes. Now your verbal cues need to be subtle. You don't want them to be too overbearing to where it interrupts their flow of their conversation. But verbal cues are also good. When you're actively listening, it's important to keep eye contact. But don't do creepy eye contact. Don't let your eyes say certain things that your mouth shouldn't say. I know sometimes, guys, we get infatuated with a woman that's beautiful, and our eyes could turn into lustful eyes. Calm that down, all right? Just don't do the lustful eyes. Let me see if I can do it. Let me get in my imagination real quick. See that? That's lustful eyes right there. You don't want to do that. That's it. Sometimes the rest of the face will join the eyes. That smirk, that just don't do it, fellas. All right. Especially if this is the first interaction. Don't do it on the first interaction. Now, if you have been talking and things are progressing towards that, then maybe let your eyes and face express what your mouth probably shouldn't express unless it is expressed that you should express it. I said express a whole lot in that sentence right there. And have a genuine smile. A genuine smile is a smile that makes the crow's feet pop up by the eyes. Like when you're really smiling and you're really happy and you're really excited about something, the crow's feet come up. Now, a fake smile looks something like this. That's a fake smile. Like you can tell it's fake. My eyes kind of bulging. It's not a good smile. It's almost a creepy smile, to tell you the truth. But with active listening, it gives the other person the feeling that you are truly interested in what they have to say. And that's all anybody really wants, is to be heard. Active listening is your greatest superpower in not making things awkward. But it really depends on your body language too. So be sure to express the proper body language that says, I'm here for you. I'm interested in what you have to say. Please tell me more. One thing I want to touch on real quick that's sometimes people have a problem with is embracing the silence. You got to embrace it. You don't always have to fill in silence, especially with filler words like er, just enjoy some of the silence. Sometimes when you just engage with the eyes after somebody's spoken, it gives them time to digest information or to even come up with more things to say, as well as you. Just give yourself a moment. You don't have to look away. You don't have to feel like the silence is deafening. Just embrace it. Let the information that has been given seep in and get processed. Matter of fact, with that silence, it gives you a moment to think about what's your next question or how to respond to the question they might have given you. Embracing the silence is important. It doesn't kill the mood. It doesn't kill the interaction. It just gives each of you a moment. That's why they say we'll have a moment of silence and we all bow our heads and just chill. But it's not that kind of moment of silence. It's a moment of silence to think for a second. You can do a little body language too, a little nod, little, let them know like, hey, I'm thinking about something. I'm thinking. Processing. Conjuring. Pondering. I need to get a better thesaurus, or at least read it a little bit more. Practice makes perfect. It doesn't make perfect. There's nothing that's perfect, but practice makes you feel like it's coming off perfect. That's from a video game. If you can guess what video game that is, put it in the comments. But when you practice, it does make it feel a lot easier to have conversations with anyone. So, who do you want to practice with? Practice with your best friend. Or your favorite family member. These are the people who you can always conversate with and not have any kind of pressure with conversations with them. So practice with them. Do some of the techniques that I just mentioned. Who else can you practice with? People at their jobs. I love doing this one. One of my favorite places to do it is department stores, like Walmart. Walmart, the grocery store, anywhere where they have to come up and ask you, can I help you? Because they approached you. So that gives you the opportunity to start the conversation and to actually find out how they're doing. You don't have to have a long, drawn out conversation, just enough to practice a couple of the techniques. Another good place to do this practice is at your job, on your break. Find somebody new at the job to speak to that you haven't spoken to yet. This is a great way to find out about other people who work at your job or within your business, networking events. These are great places to practice these techniques. What it all boils down to is practice. You can't get better at conversations if you're not practicing speaking to people. And there's plenty of people in this world to speak to. Oh, yeah. I would say online, but unless you're actually doing like a video chat, I'm not talking about typing. Typing is a whole different ball game. I'm talking about actually communicating verbally. All of these are verbal places, verbal interactions. Okay. In conclusion, the best way to defeat awkwardness when it comes to conversations is to have some confidence whenever you're going to speak. That is the main thing that helps defeat awkwardness. And the best way to do that is to practice. Practice the technique of Ford. Remember, family, occupation, recreation, and dreams. Practice parroting. When somebody says something, you repeat the last little bit of it, but with the inflection of a question. It keeps them talking a little bit more about what they were just speaking on. Also, asking open-ended questions. When you ask open-ended questions, it gets people to speak more on things instead of just closing-ended questions where it's just a yes or no answer. Remember, active listening is your superpower. When people feel like they're being heard, they're more likely to open up to you, and that makes you the most interesting person to them because they feel like they got to know you even though they were just talking about themselves. And remember, these are the greatest people to practice on. Again, my name is James Moore Jr., and thank you for being on my channel. Be sure to like and subscribe, and stay tuned for more videos on how to become a more confident speaker, a more confident communicator. Thank you for your time. Peace.